Now, if I wanted people to be healthy, if I was truly concerned, well, when I'm truly concerned about people, as far as their health is concerned, I tell them to, or I've told them to do every single thing I could think of to get their health better. And I try to even tailor it to that individual. As far as, if they're a very heavy person, I'm not going to tell them to do some burpees or weight lift. I would just mention, just getting up and walking, making sure they get enough walks in. Maybe a little jogging, but, mainly walks. Things I believe that person may be able to do based on how I view their level of drive and resources. By resources, I mean like what's around that person. What type of money do they have for herbs and foods and things of that nature? How much time do they have to spend doing a particular thing? And I'm not a doctor or a nutritionist or anything like that, but I can generally name, who knows, 5 or more things or recommendations people can take in general to improve their health. Because I feel like that is the best way to ensure good health, is to try to strengthen everything that can be strengthened as it relates to health. Wherever you're weak, get strong in that as it relates to health. As far as nutrition, exercise, proper rest, proper motivation, spiritual health. You definitely need spiritual health or a spiritual foundation, whether it be from religion or just certain practices. You definitely need that, because that's going to motivate you to move forward and to stay consistent and disciplined and keep focused. So I'm saying all this to say, me being, somebody who never went to school for health and nutrition, and or I was never a doctor, and I know certain things. Why did the mainstream media only push vaccines? Or they pushed vaccines, masks, and social restriction or social distancing. And they pushed it hard to the point where, they drove people out of business. People are homeless because of that. Anyway, I think I don't want to get sidetracked. All I heard the media push was vaccines, masks, and mandates. That is the bulk of all I heard media talk about. I didn't hear them say what they should have said, what a responsible what what well, in my opinion, responsible, knowledgeable news sources would have went on a campaign or been on a campaign of just full well, how can I say this? They would have gone scorched earth as far as attacking anything unhealthy or any negative thing as it relates to health. Exercise, good nutrition, proper rest, emotional health, herbs. What herbs can you take? What foods can you eat? That's not what I heard. Just vaccines and masks and mandates and restrictions, well, and distancing. That's all they promoted, and they promoted it heavily. Do any of you know that stress creates so many problems in the body? Stress alone creates problems. Stress creates illness in the body. Do any of you remember when you were children, I don't know if you ever had the experience where where you may have had a pet or something, and your parents told you not to play with, let's say, that lizard or a turtle or a fish or whatever, because it would die from stress. And when you think about it, it makes sense. I mean, these things, if something is a if something is small and is not used to big things, petting it, they live in a world which is entirely predator and prey relationship, and anything bigger than you is a predator. And this thing is holding you or trying to touch you, and you're not comfortable with it, your heart's going to be racing a mile a minute. So I'm pretty sure that's why these things die or can die, because they get so stressed out. Their bodies just give out. And my point is, there have been countless studies on the effects of stress on the body. So many studies on the effects of stress and anxiety on physical health. Yet they created conditions, in my opinion, which strengthened stress, optimized stress, have people walking around in masks to protect them from a virus, when at the same time a mask, for most of my life, to the best of my knowledge, is the perfect disguise for a criminal or for a criminal-minded person. When have you heard it discussed when have they discussed the pros and cons, the full pros and cons of people walking around in masks? And then you hear about all these, everybody's wondering why there's so many crimes occurring. These are the perfect conditions for criminal behavior. It's like a buffet for crime and the criminal minded. We get to walk around, you get to walk around, and practically you can walk around in a ski mask damn near. You can walk into a store damn near in a ski mask. When before, if you walked in the store with a ski mask, you might be at risk of getting a gun pointed at you. Now people can just walk around freely with masks on. But apparently they didn't consider that. Or we're supposed to believe that wasn't a consideration. I don't believe that personally. Have any of you heard the news promote antibacterial foods, antibacterial herbs at all in the last, 2 or 3 years? Well, to the best of my knowledge, fruits and vegetables and herbs have benefits. They keep you alive to some degree. How many of you remember them specifically talking about what are the best fruits, vegetables, and herbs you could be putting in your body to stay alive? How much did they talk about that? If we judge the importance of vaccines based on the amount of time they talked about vaccines over proper nutrition and as far as fruits, vegetables, herbs, exercise, meditation, things of that nature, we would think vaccines vaccines, according to the amount of energy they focus on vaccines must be so significant. You should be able to stick a vaccine in a slice of bread and eat it and just let that sustain you. Don't even forget going to the grocery store. Vaccines must be, according to the energy they promote vaccines must be the cure for everything. Just matter of fact, just take some cardboard or some cotton. Take some cotton balls and take a syringe and start shooting up those cotton balls shoot them up full of vaccines and eat them, because that should be all you need, according to the amount of energy they spend talking about vaccines over proper nutrition and exercise and stuff of that nature. Otherwise, anyway, don't get me started. I don't want to get too sarcastic and lose direction, but I think you all know where I'm going. Remember, I'm not a doctor. I don't work in the health industry. But it didn't occur to any of these people. To maybe we should just tell them, maybe we should be promoting everything we can for the sake of their maybe we should be promoting everything we can that we know of to make a body healthy, or that we know of that makes a healthy body, just to be on the safe side. Nobody had that conversation. Use your brains. Use your brains. I'm not trying to be mean. Don't think about me as trying to be mean or rude. What's worse, what you should be fearing are the consequences of not thinking. Do you value vaccines so much that you believe you could just subside off of vaccines? Like you can just shoot some vaccine in some water, or some cotton balls, and eat that, and you should be able to live and sustain life. Do you believe that? Well, if you don't believe that, anyway, I mean, if you don't believe that vaccines are good enough to just chew on or drink in your water, then why were they not, or what motives do you think they had by not talking about these other things? Possibly a profit motive? Or some type of agenda, maybe? The same people that allowed its heroes, or people they considered to be heroes, or veterans, to sleep out in the street and die out in the street and commit suicide because they don't want to give them the proper resources. These people, I guess, had a change of heart, and now they want to, after decades of of neglect and if not neglect, just inadequate assistance as it relates to helping the needy. These people, I guess, had a change of heart. Now they want everybody to be healthy. And that's their number one concern. I guess maybe like some spirit or something came to them in dreams and showed them the error of their ways, and now they're gonna be good guys and be good people, and they want to help. All they want to do is help us. You really believe that? We judge people based on their track records, all of us. if somebody was a lifelong criminal, we might not be so quick to put them in a position of power over money and resources. I'm not saying we shouldn't give them a chance, but they would have to kind of work up to that at the very least. But these people that have had this track record of not giving a damn about the needy, all of a sudden are just so trustworthy, and we should just take their word. And you just took their words. The same people of the same types of personalities that as we speak, people in Afghanistan are starving to death. Babies are starving to death in Afghanistan. And they're not even covering that, I guess. They're not, maybe they're not, I don't know, maybe they're not light-skinned enough. Maybe. I don't know. Or maybe they don't have enough, they've run out of resource. Maybe a deal was made, and that's why we're no longer over there. Possibly some type of deal was made. Seems like it, I don't know. Leave behind $21 billion worth of equipment to the people that you were fighting against. Anyway, don't get me started on that. But the same types of personalities that know of people starving to death all over the world, all of a sudden care so much about the same people that they just want you to have your vaccine so you can stay alive. They have not earned that. They have a bad track record as it relates to helping the needy and concern for human beings in general, or the poor and all that. They don't have a good track record. The track record has been mainly, consistently, more towards only the strong surviving. And if you're not strong, you get what you get. To a certain degree, it's your fault. That has been the tone. That has been the tone of living. That has been what they have been practicing consistently. But all of a sudden, they care so much about us. They just want us to have our vaccines. It's so important for us to have these shots that they need to talk about it every single day. It's more important than everything. It's more important than talking about sex trafficking. It's more important than talking about and it's more important than doing something about homelessness. It's more important than doing something about sex trafficking. It's more important than doing something about drug trafficking, which is contributing to countless overdoses on a daily basis in America. I feel sorry for most of you. You live in a fairy tale land. You choose illusions and delusion over reality. And that you pay for that. And when you pay for it, you pay for it in a lump sum, or you can pay for that in a lump sum, or you pay for that all. You can. I guess what I'm saying is you can either address an issue. You can either address your issues gradually, and responsibly and appropriately, or just let them pile, just neglect them and let them pile up until they can possibly create crippling conditions that may kill you or break you in some way. Me personally, I prefer to try to handle my issues responsibly while they occur. And that involves that involves taking my reality straight without chaser, or with the least amount of chaser. Most of you seem to not agree with that. You need your reality needs to be diluted. You can't take it straight. You need your lies and your delusions, your Santa Claus and your Easter Bunny and your gods, which are supposed to be like genies that you can just wish for stuff and they'll just give it to you. Even though that's not consistent with the reality of history, that you can just wish for stuff and hope for stuff. I'm sure that so many slaves all over the world, or people who have been enslaved all over the world, wished and hoped and prayed that they would be taken out of those conditions in vain. I'm not saying that blessings don't occur. I'm not saying that God doesn't do things, or higher powers don't do things, but I've yet to hear some consistency from most of the leaders as it relates to what God does or does not do. But that's also another conversation for another day. My point is, we should be in reality as much as possible. And too many of you have bought into a narrative, a lie, countless lies. You are being played on so many different levels. You don't realize that these people know and have studied and have practiced playing groups over each other for centuries. They have been practicing these things for centuries. They treat human beings as cattle, as expendable things, and you don't want to believe that because they look like you and they smile like you and they laugh like you, but they view you as cattle, and you don't seem to understand that they play race against race and religion against religion and political party against political party. That is the best weapon or the best tactic to create chaos so that your enemies fight one another, or your potential enemies fight one another, so that you can just keep your hands clean. You can just keep your hands clean and watch the show from a distance. Let the races fight over resources, and the religions fight over resources and doctrine and all that stuff. Promote that. How often, when was the last time anybody saw or heard of a meeting, like a world meeting, or when was it promoted on mainstream media about just different groups of people, different leaders just sitting down and just talking about, what can we do to help to save the world or to make the world better? Jewish people talking with Muslim people, atheists talking with uh, uh, atheists being involved, different races just being involved, all races being involved, or multiple races being involved. Just leaders, period. The leaders just sitting down at a table having a discussion. When was the last time you've seen that? This is what responsible people do. Or this is what responsible people do when they are trying to achieve a goal. When they are sincerely trying to achieve a goal. And I don't believe these people are stupid. Everything they do, or too much of what they do, is predatorial. It is for their own advantage. It is for the advantage of their group, their power structures. You are cattle to these people. It's like a giant Ponzi scheme. This world is almost set up like a giant Ponzi scheme where only the people who are at the top or closer to the top get the benefit at the expense of the people at the bottom. So you want to help destroy the world, keep on with your left, right fighting, and your black and white fighting, and your religious fighting. Because very soon, very, very soon, you're going to be fighting for food. Most of you are going to be fighting for food. You are going to be fighting just to stay alive, which is the end game. If you want to save the world, start talking to those people you disagree with. Start trying to have a meeting of the minds with your opposition, as opposed to just demonizing. Or else most of us are going to be in very, very bad shape. Because I can assure you, the people at the top, they've got their resources. They've got their food, their water, their bunkers, all that stuff. Regular folks don't have that. They even have their underground cities. They've got it all set up. Look into that. Underground cities. They've got all this stuff set up. So if you want to keep helping them destroy America and destroy civilized society, keep on fighting. Keep on not thinking for yourself. Keep allowing people to think for you. Even though it's been proven that we as beings are mainly out for ourselves, or the power structures are mainly out for themselves. Keep letting them make your decisions without thinking about it. Keep trusting them. I'm not saying that you should have 100% distrust, but you should have a healthy distrust. If you live in a society where people aren't allowed to ask, if you're being shunned for asking questions, for voicing disapproval, you should question who is promoting this. I don't think these people are your friends. So I don't think they have your best interests at heart. If they don't want you to think. As far as nutrition and health is concerned, make sure you're getting your greens in there. Make sure you're exercising regularly. Make sure you're involved in some type of spirituality, some type of spiritual practice. That is, what all that means is you're doing something deliberately every day to strengthen your mind and your spirit and your heart and your motivation. Don't judge your fellow man too harshly. Try to be somewhat fair. Don't be too hard on yourself unless you deserve it. If you've done very bad things, try to make amends in some way. Don't kill yourself over it. If you kill yourself, you can't make amends. It's better you stay alive and just do better than putting yourself on the ground. These are things we can do. Think. I used to mention, or I used to use the phrasing, the term critical thinking, but somebody corrected me on that. Just thinking is enough. Actual thought is enough of a word. Think. Just think more. Stop being led so blindly and easily. Stop going against your better judgment. Anyway, I've said enough on that. Take care.